Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about something that is totally changing the game when it comes to how AI sounds. I'm talking about Google's new Gemini Text-to-Speech, and believe me, it's a huge step up from what we're all used to.
Yeah, we all know that voice, don't we? For what feels like forever, text-to-speech has had this clunky, robotic, completely unnatural vibe. Sure, it gets the words out, but that's pretty much it. There's no feeling, no style, definitely no personality.
But imagine for a second, what if you could change all that? What if, instead of just feeding text into a machine, you could actually direct an AI voice, almost like a voice actor, telling it exactly how to perform, what emotions to bring out, what style to use? Well, that's exactly what Gemini is making possible. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at how we're moving past those old robotic voices. Then we'll get into the fun part, prompting like a director to create some really amazing audio. After that, we'll walk through your first API call and wrap up with the nitty-gritty on pricing and what to expect. Okay, let's dive in. All right, so first things first, let's really get a handle on the fundamental change that's happening here, because this isn't just a small update. It's a completely new way of thinking about AI voice. Okay, so here's the secret sauce. Gemini Text-to-Speech isn't some separate, isolated tool. Nope, it's built right on top of the Gemini large language model. And what that means is it doesn't just read words, it actually understands the intention behind them. You can give it instructions for tone, for emotion, for style, all just using plain everyday English.
And that leads us to, honestly, the coolest part of all of this, how you actually control it. You can forget about complicated code. Seriously, just start thinking of yourself as a director, guiding a performance. And this slide, right here, just nails the difference. The old way, you were stuck messing with specialized tokens and really complex code to get any kind of special effect. But the Gemini way, you just describe what you want in plain English, like you're talking to another person.
For instance, you can literally just type dramatic movie trailer voice with epic pauses, and that is exactly what you get. The AI gets the whole cultural vibe of a movie trailer voice and then delivers a performance that fits. It's so intuitive. And to make this even easier, Google actually gives you this handy little framework. You start with an audio profile to say who the character is. Then you add a scene description to set the mood. And finally, you throw in some director notes for specific stuff like accents or pacing. It's a whole toolkit for getting the perfect sound. Okay, let's keep going and see how all this comes together to create some seriously dynamic audio, stuff that just wasn't really possible before. Now, this is a real game changer. You have the power to generate entire conversations between a bunch of different speakers all in one shot. I mean, think about it. You could create a podcast, an audio drama, or character dialogue for a game, all from a single prompt. And get this, setting up these different voices, it's ridiculously easy. You can just say speaker 1 is tired and bored, and speaker 2 is excited and happy. The AI just takes those simple little emotional cues. And boom, it just performs the dialogue based on that. You can actually hear the difference. One character sounds totally flat, and the other is just buzzing with energy. It's just a fantastic example of the kind of nuanced performance you can get from just a handful of words. And the control just keeps going. You can prompt for specific emotions, like whispering or shouting. You can ask for different accents, control the pacing, pick from over 30 voices that are already built in, and you can even tell it to pause for a specific amount of time, right in the middle of a sentence. Oh, and it supports 24 languages, including a lot of non-European ones, which is great to see. All right, so this all sounds amazing, right? But how do you actually, use it? Let's walk through how developers and creators can get their hands on this. Getting started is actually pretty simple. First, you'll need a Gemini API key. They recommend a paid one to avoid hitting any limits since it's still in preview. Then, make sure you have the right version of the SDK installed. After that, you just pick a model and start writing your prompts. That's it. Now, speaking of models, you've got two main choices, 1.5 Pro and 1.5 Flash. Now, you'd think Pro would be the best for everything, but here's the interesting thing. For this specific job, Flash is not only faster and cheaper, but it actually seems to follow instructions better. So yeah, Flash is probably the one you want to start with. Okay, last but not least, let's get down to brass tacks. What's this going to cost? And what are the current gotchas you should know about? For that Flash model we just talked about, it's currently $10 per million audio tokens. And you can think of tokens as just tiny little bits of sound. So that's a lot of audio. And if you're processing big batches of sound, you can cut that price in half, which makes it even more affordable.
It's also good to keep a few things in mind. The models are still in preview, so things might change. They're built on the Gemini 1.5 generation, which isn't the absolute newest model. And like pretty much every AI out there, it kind of struggles with comedy. It's just not funny. And finally, remember there's a 32,000 token context window, not the giant million token window the base model has.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. We're officially moving past the era where AI voice was just about reading text out loud. We are now in the era of performance, of direction. We're giving creators the tools to make audio that has real, actual artistic intention behind it. And that kind of leaves us with this huge, fascinating question for the future, right? As this tech gets better and better, and AI voices become basically indistinguishable from human voices, what are we going to create? What new kinds of art and entertainment are going to pop up? What will we even ask it to say?